The great French painter of these glorious pictures, Auguste Renoir, was the father of the man who created, arguably, the finest moving pictures made in the Western world, one of the movie's only true poets, Jean Renoir. And this Renoir, director, writer, actor, the most celebrated of French picture makers, kept his home in America the last 40 years of his life. He died in Los Angeles in 1979 at the age of 84. Renoir's most famous film and his most damned, at first anyway, are both now available on video cassette. Can the movies, the question is often asked, ever be in the same league with a great symphony, a great novel? Jean Renoir has proven they can. That's Jean Gabin as a flyer in World War I, which in fact Renoir himself was. Gabin is wearing Renoir's old uniform. He plays a man of the common people, one of the four leading figures in Renoir's remarkable pacifist film, The Grand Illusion, released in 1937, and the first foreign language film ever nominated by the Academy for Best Picture. Marcel Dalio plays the son of a wealthy Jewish family whose food parcels feed his fellow prisoners in the German POW camp. And Pierre Frenet plays an officer from the French aristocracy whose class was forever destroyed by the war. His German counterpart is the legendary director-star Erich von Stroheim.
Mon cousin Edmond Boileau était attaché militaire.
He was a marvelous writer.
In the good old times, yes.
The film Stroheim directed in America had been a tremendous influence on the young Renoir, and here he was directing his idol. But Stroheim at first behaved intolerably, Renoir wrote in his autobiography, and it so distressed him that he burst into tears, which so affected Stroheim that there were tears in his eyes. They fell into each other's arms. Renoir said he had such respect for Stroheim's talent that rather than quarrel with him, he'd give up directing the film. Stroheim promised from then on to follow orders slavishly, and he kept his word.
You understand that if you do not obey my order now, I'll have to shoot. I dread to do that.
The film they all made vividly shows the commonality of all people. It's the most profoundly humanist film about war, its essential futility, and the love that unites and transcends all classes. In its day, World War I was called the war to end all wars, and that, of course, is the grand illusion. 2 years after Grand Illusion, Renoir wrote, directed, acted in an astonishing comedy drama that was, on its first release in France in 1939, as violently disliked as Grand Illusion had been wholeheartedly embraced. It was in every way a more complex, ambitious work, but the French public on the eve of World War II was not ready for this unique mixture of romantic comedy, social satire, comedy of manners, and tragedy, which even now, 50 years later, has lost none of its comic pungency, retains its cutting edge, its unsettling intensity. The picture is called The Rules of the Game. And the game it portrays is the lifestyle of the upper middle class as they gather for a holiday at the country estate of, again, Marcel Dalio's character. He's having an affair and his wife is contemplating an affair, and their closest friend, played by Renoir himself, is also in love with Dalio's wife. Then, of course, there's the working class, the gamekeeper and the flirtatious young wife who doesn't love him. Eventually, all hell breaks loose during a performance Dalio has staged with his guests. The picture contains a savage sequence of rabbit and bird hunting done for sport, which reverberates throughout, and especially in the climactic shooting that kills the only truly innocent one in the group. The film was so hated by French audiences that it was viciously truncated and lost for years. Renoir was so disheartened he left France and moved to the United States. In the late 50s, the lost sequences were pieced together and the picture was reissued. The French New Wave filmmakers discovered, embraced, and proclaimed it the very finest ever made, an opinion that prevails today. Renoir's profound compassion and understanding of all people is summed up in what is perhaps the truest, most generous line ever spoken in the film. Renoir himself says it in a long shot. Because, you see, on this earth, there is only one thing which is terrible, and that is that everyone has their own good reasons